What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Room, joined by Tyler Stafford on Hayden Wisniewski Day. Congratulations to Hayden Wisniewski finishing Tommy John rehab. He will return to the Astros rotation tonight and pitch against a Los Angeles Angels team, Tyler, that is just unfathomably bad. That is a terrible club, and they're going to get worse too when they trade Zach Neto, when they trade Reed Detmers and Jose Soriano. Even with them, that is just a bad ball club, and the Astros are doing what you need to do against a bad team. They accepted a hand-wrapped gift on Monday night from the Angels, and then Peter Lambert pitched well on Tuesday. Jordan Alvarez did Jordan Alvarez things in the ninth inning, and the Astros won a one-run game to run their record to one game below 500. They've won 7 of 8, their past 8, with 5 days until the trade deadline. Tyler, again, they don't ask how, they just ask how many. They have gone to Anaheim and beaten up on just a woeful club.
Yeah, but I've watched the Astros not do that enough to know that you can't take that for granted. Just because a team is not good doesn't mean that they are just giving up. The guys on the field want to win, and Mike Trout is on that field. Reed Detmers was great. He's going to be a big trade deadline acquisition for some team. I mean, there's guys on that team, but yeah, it's a rough watch over there. But what else is new? But I mean, look at their starting pitch. Those top 3 guys, Detmers, Soriano, and Urania are all.
Urania's nasty.
Oh,
Urania tied them in knots for 5 innings on Monday. I don't want to get anyone worked up, but the Astros have long coveted Reed Detmers. He is someone that they have asked about, I believe, at like the last 2 deadlines. Again, that was at the point where the Angels were kind of rudderless and not selling and didn't know what they were going to do. Reed Detmers has a lot of control left, so I don't know that the Astros would be able to put up the best prospect package with interim GM John Mozeliak of the Angels, but just know that the Astros have coveted Reed Detmers. They like him a lot, and again, not saying it's going to happen, but that's just put that name in the back of your mind as maybe someone to keep an eye on, because he pitched very well on Tuesday as well, gave up 2 absolute bombs to Jordan Alvarez and Christian Walker, but otherwise was excellent. You know who was not excellent this week in Anaheim was Tetsuya Imai, who did not make it out of the first inning on Monday. That is the 3rd time in 15 starts this season he has not made it out of the first inning. He has failed to throw 5 innings in 8 of his 13 starts this season. Say it with me, Tyler. Mm-hmm. This is untenable.
Yeah, I agree. Unten-outsable. He can't even do that. It's yeah. What are they going to do? I heard the comment from a spot that was like, we consider him a major league pitcher.
He has to say that.
Sure, but he did not say a major league starting pitcher. I know that with the contract, he has to agree to be optioned, which doesn't sound like is going to happen. Although they still have to make a move, correct, today before the game for Wisniewski?
I would imagine it'd be Miguel Ulloa.
Sure, they do have to make a move.
Right. But I'd imagine it'd be Miguel Ulloa because he has options. But
yeah, he's unwatchable. Like, it's just, he's not a major league pitcher right now, even though they said that. I guess put him in the bullpen, but like, do you want a guy with no control coming out of the bullpen? I guess the only good news is when you have a guy that has so little control like that, is you can kind of tell pretty quickly what kind of day it's going to be. Because there are games that, and we've seen, there are games where he's got the control and his stuff plays, but if he does not have that control, he just is unusable. So that is the benefit of using him as a reliever, is you're only on the hook for 3 batters, and you can yank him if he has 10 balls in the first 12 pitches or whatever, and move on from there. But then if he does have it, great. Maybe you let him go 2 or 3 innings and ride it out. But he can't start. anytime soon.
His next scheduled turn in the Astros rotation is on Sunday against the Texas Rangers at Dyken Park.
Nope.
I cannot envision a world in which he takes the mound against the Rangers on Sunday. The Astros, they can do some different things. Obviously, with the off day on Thursday, they can throw Peter Lambert on Sunday on 4 days rest. He has pitched on 4 days rest before this season and been good. But they've got some options for Sunday. But the bigger question here is, what do you do with Imai, a guy that is becoming an albatross on your roster? And I'm not talking about from a financial standpoint, but more from just a practical roster usage standpoint. He's becoming an albatross because you cannot trust him at all. You don't know what you're going to get from him when he goes out there. And when he's bad, Tyler, and we've talked about this, it's not just that he's bad on the day he pitches. When he is bad on the day he pitches, he affects the next 2 or 3 games. If not for Christian Javier on Monday, like Christian Javier saved a lot of people's behinds on Monday by going 70 pitches, 5 scoreless innings, looked very good while doing it. But if that doesn't happen, Joe's already had to extend AJ Blueball to 48 pitches when he pretty clearly looked out of gas toward the end. And if Javier doesn't go out and give you 5 innings, then you've got to run through Abreu and De Los Santos and your guys that you would rather not use, and they're unavailable for Tuesday and Wednesday. And when you're trying to stack wins, and when we have Imai has lost the benefit of patience. Like there is no more time to have patience here. Like you have 50-something games left. You're 2 games back of the Rangers in the division. You're a game out of the wild card. Like you got to win. Like there has to be urgency here. And Tetsuya Imai is not giving you a chance to win when he goes out. And that's a problem. And it's not only affecting, himself, it's affecting his teammates. I'm not sitting here saying that there's a lack of preparation, that there's a lack of effort. I think he is trying, but it's just not working right now. And, me personally, this is just my opinion. I'm not reporting anything here. I don't know how you can justify keeping him on the Major League roster. And there's only a couple ways to get him off. He can come down with arm fatigue again and go on the injured list, or they can go to him and have a hard conversation and say, we think you need to work this out in West Palm Beach, in AAA, wherever. There's precedent here. They did this with Jose Abreu 2 years ago. It was around the same level of contract. Obviously, Jose Abreu had more stature in MLB, was a former MVP, just was had a bigger track record here. Tetsuya Imai certainly has that in NPB, does not have that in Major League Baseball, but I think they are nearing that point where they're going to have that conversation of how much longer can we even keep him as an active player on this roster?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. If you could just option him without having to ask him, I think you would have done that by now. But I mean, so basically they have to ask him, do you accept doing that? What would be the reason not to, other than pride of I don't want to go to AAA? But I mean, it's not, he's already got a guaranteed contract. It's not like he's on a 1-year deal and he's trying to get, whatever. He's got 3 years, 56, 58 million, whatever it is. Like he's got that guaranteed anyway. So I guess I don't understand even what the issue would be on his side of accepting it, other than it's embarrassing to accept a demotion. But if you view yourself as a starter and that's what you want to be long term, you would think it would be in your best interest to go to AAA, figure out this stuff, and then come back as a starter, assuming that it is more important to him to be a quality starting pitcher rather than just a guy in the bullpen that gets used when they have to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think pride is certainly a factor in it.
I get I'm not saying he is making. I'm saying I get that feeling in general of not wanting to accept a demotion, but I'm thinking from a personal career outlook. If my goal is to be a quality Major League starter, then to me, the only way you can do that right now is to go to AAA, where somebody wrote recently that the AAA pitching coach helped fix some guys over there. So maybe that might be helpful.
It could be. I don't know how much of it is fixing him as much of like, because let's face it, like with Jose Abreu, like they didn't send him to West Palm Beach to like work on his swing, right? Like that's what they portrayed it as, but they sent him to West Palm Beach to like clear his head, to like take a break, take a breather. They couldn't fake IL him, so it was like let's send you here, let you get a reset, let you clear your mind, and then come back. I mean, they didn't say it at the time, but they gave like a calendar of we'll bring you back here and we'll give you some runway and see how it goes. Um, I don't know. Like, do they do that with Imai and tell him we'll bring you back on this day and you've got 3 or 4 starts to figure out? They don't have that luxury. Like this is not like Abreu that you could. I mean, by the end they couldn't hide him anywhere. But like Tetsuya, he's a starting pitcher. Like you can't hide like you can't hide him, right? Like he's got to, if he's going to start, he's got to start every 5th day. And when he goes out there and can't get out of the first inning, it just puts you in a really bad spot. And look, there are things that they can do maybe to like with him on the roster to mitigate this. They can use an opener in front of him. Like maybe that helps because his first innings have been a bugaboo. Everything's been a bugaboo for him, but first innings especially have been so. Like maybe you use an opener in front of him and bring him in the 2nd or 3rd inning. But then again, this is also a guy that has spoken all season about kind of the differences in routine, the differences like he needs to do things the way he did them in Japan. And I don't know much about his time in Japan, but I can't imagine he came out of the bullpen much. I can't imagine that there were openers used in front of him. Like you're now asking a guy again who's already struggling to do something that's very unfamiliar to him. And I don't know if that's conducive to helping him out. Again, it is a mess of a situation. I do not envy anyone involved in it because I don't know that there's a true right answer here.
I mean, when I talk about fixing him, look, he throws 2 pitches.
Hey, he has, okay, I'll give him this. They asked him over the All-Star break to throw the changeup or the split more, and he's done that. In the first 2 starts back, he's thrown the 3rd pitch more, but continue, yes.
My point is that he is capable of throwing more pitches. He's just as comfortable with those. Mm-hmm. You can learn a new pitch. Like that is a thing that pitchers are capable of doing. He has thrown his slider 50 or 45% of the time, his 4-seamer 42% of the time. The slider is good. He has a 40% whiff rate on his slider. He has allowed a 175 batting average. It is a good pitch. The problem is the other pitch that he throws just as often is the 4-seamer, which Chandler, he has allowed a 325 batting average on that pitch. And that's when it's in the zone. That doesn't even include all of the times that you're just walking people with the highest walk rate in baseball. But he's got a good foundation. You've got a slider that you can throw half of the time and get good results. That's hard to do. Like it's hard to have a breaking pitch that is that useful that often. A lot of times it's, this pitch you're using 15% of the time. Let's crank it up to 25% because we think it's a good pitch. He's throwing it half the time and getting good results when it's in the strike zone and when people are swinging at it. The problem is he only has one other pitch and it is just getting hammered. And so, when you're trying to figure that out at the major league level, you're going to fall back on the things that you're comfortable with. But if you can go to AAA and say, we literally do not care what the results look like, we need you to try out these other pitches. Try a cutter, try a sinker, try putting your 4-seamer here, try throwing a changeup, try throwing a curveball, whatever. It doesn't matter what the results are because that's not the point of you being here. The point is you getting practice with these pitches and seeing if we can build an arsenal that allows you to use this slider really well and do that. It can't get worse. Like it's not like you're going to mess him up. He's not playable right now. So to me, that is, if my goal is to be successful at the major league level as a starting pitcher, there's not a lot of successful starting pitchers that only throw 2 pitches, and there are 0 that only throw 1 good pitch, which is where he is at right now.
Yeah, it's not good. Again, I would be fall on the floor stunned if he starts on Sunday against the Rangers. Joe Espada yesterday in Anaheim said that they met with him and that they talked through some things about his delivery and release point, where he's landing and all that stuff. And then, but he did say, like, we did not give him a timetable, or we did not give him a definite time of when he is going to be on the mound again, which inherently means like his spot in the rotation, at the very least, his spot in the rotation is in jeopardy, which I think is the bare minimum as to what needs to be happening right now. Tyler, 5 days until the trade deadline, and Foul Territory has you covered for that trade deadline.
There is one place to be on trade deadline day. Watching Foul Territory, of course. AJ Przinsky, Eric Kratz, and Scott Braun will be live all afternoon, speaking with insiders, reading tea leaves, and reacting to unfolding deadline drama. Join us on the FT YouTube channel at 1 p.m. ET, and stay locked in through the 6 p.m. deadline next Monday. Foul Territory Network, it's baseball the way it should be covered.
Yes, please join Monday. That's a 5-hour live stream starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central. So that'll be fun. I think we may have infuriated some people just by playing that to hear Ken Rosenthal's voice. Before we get into this, I want to like say this before. Like, I get it. A lot of you listening to this are Astros centric people that just have this defense mentality of any national writer that says anything negative about the Astros or says anything that's not the greatest thing in the world, you automatically hate them. Ken Rosenthal is the nicest human being you will ever meet. Like, it is not, I mean, I work with him daily. Like, it is not a debate. He is one of the most ego-less, humble, genuine people I have ever worked with in this industry. And that is very hard to find in an industry like this that is so competitive.
And Chandler wouldn't say that. He has other ways of talking nicely, professionally about people that he doesn't like. I've heard him do it. He would not just that's not a thing that he is just throwing out. So I don't know Ken Rosenthal, but I will speak to how I have seen Chandler handle commenting on other things, and I will say that that is a genuine opinion of Chandler.
But Ken ruffled some feathers, I guess, in Astros world on Monday when he went on Foul Territory. Well, he did his show, Fair Territory, which airs, I believe, every Monday, if you want to watch more of Ken Rosenthal. And he called the Astros the cockroaches of baseball. And I got to say, I agree with him. Like, it's not endearing. It's not it's not an when you hear it, it's not endearing, right? It's not, you don't want to be called a cockroach. I had a couple people within the industry, within the organization, tell me that. Like, cockroaches is not what you want to be called. But when you really think about it, it's true. And it's an endearing term in that this team just never really dies, right? Like, you think if you've ever had to deal with a roach, right? You think you squashed it. Like, you think you got the blood and the guts out, but there's like one or two of its little like
blood.
There's like one or two of its little like legs that are still like wiggling around, and it's not dead. And look, for everything that has gone on in this Astros season, for as bad as Dana Brown's offseason has aged, for the season-ending injury to Carlos Correa, for Jose Altuve appearing to be on a decline, for Tetsuya Imai just completely being a dud. Like, this team's one game below 500, and this team is squarely in the American League playoff picture. And look, that's a credit and a testament to how bad the AL is, but there is something to this, right? That this Astros team, for all of its warts, it's resilient and it doesn't die very easily.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're building a baseball team, you want to be known as the team that sticks around even after you're not invited anymore. And that is certainly what the Astros have been able to do. I think he just picked an unfortunate animal for those of us who live in Houston and have to deal with cockroaches all the time. I mean, it's summer, it's dry out there. They are just marching into all houses, mine included. I got one this morning. So I get that maybe that's not the animal you want. If he'd said, like, the old elephant or whatever, that's like slow and past its prime, but it still remembers the good times. Whatever. You can pick a different animal, but resiliency is a positive character quality of a baseball team. And he's right that when you think about the Astros dynasty, there's nobody here from that except for Altuve, and Altuve has not been good this year, but they're still a baseball team that is in the playoff mix. Like, that is not something that every team can do. Look no further than, the other team in Texas that won a World Series more recently. And no one would describe the Rangers as like this resilient team that just keeps doing it you got to earn that. And like I said, I think it was an unfortunate animal choice. But that doesn't mean that the comment itself should be taken as a diss, because I don't think that's what it meant. And also, it doesn't matter if it's taken as a diss. The Astros have been good and relevant for 10 years, and that is something that any fan should want.
Again, I'm not a fan, so I when I heard it, I kind of just laughed. I was like, "Oh, that's like a pretty apt comparison. Like that's spot on." But I get it from a fan's perspective, especially when you are a fan of a team that has been assailed, if you will, in the public eye for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. Like, I get it. I get you're on edge. I get you can be a little sensitive. I get that, but I thought it was apropos. I don't disagree with anything he said, and I don't mean it as like, they're pests or they're annoyances. No, they're just resilient. They don't die. It's just like every time you think the dynasty is dead, it just somehow they're here. Somehow they've changed faces, they've changed leadership, they've changed cores, they've changed everything, and somehow they're still here. And that's a testament to a lot of different things. That's a testament to a good infrastructure in place. And I think that is what Ken was getting at without putting words in his mouth. I think that's what I took it to mean. That's what I took it to mean. So take it with a badge of honor, Astros fans, that you root for a bunch of cockroaches. So what happened? What else happened? Oh, Peter Lambert pitched well again.
He's good.
He crossed the 100 inning threshold last night at Angel Stadium. Was not his best start by any stretch of the imagination, but still 5 innings, a 2-run ball. He's now got a 3.06 ERA in 103 innings, and he has a 3-win season, according to Baseball Reference. He is the most valuable pitcher on this roster, and that is a minor league signing from last October. So just a complete player development win by all involved. And look, even if this magic carpet ride comes to an end and he starts to maybe falter a little bit down the stretch, and it's not as good as it is now, like, he has kept them in contention for the last 2.5 months. Just like, I know Spencer Arrighetti's on the IL now, and it hasn't been great for him, but if they don't have him in May, like, who knows where this season goes? Like, as we start getting toward the end of this season, and as they put themselves in position to, really contend for a playoff spot, you'll start to remember these little chapters of the season where things could have really gone sideways, where things could have, they could be in a different position heading into this deadline than they are right now. And I think you'll remember Spencer Arrighetti's May, and you'll remember Peter Lambert from the day he came up on April 17th has been a godsend and the most consistent piece of this rotation that they have.
Yeah, you talked about it being a player development miracle. Let's talk about that. You wrote a story a couple days ago about Peter Lambert and how the Astros remade Peter Lambert the savior of their starting rotation. Let's talk about that a little bit. I've got some stats that we can look at here in a second, but just walk us through real quick. You mentioned minor league signing. What happened? Where did this come from? How did he change? Like, what did the Astros do to get a 137 ERA plus over 100 innings out of a guy that was essentially off the scrap heap?
Well, so it's interesting that like when you say off the scrap heap, like that intimates that he was like not good or like that was like he was like just a nobody, a non-prospect. Like this guy was a second round pick in 2015. He got like almost a $1.5 million signing bonus. Like this is not some guy that like they found in the 40th round and just was a waiver claim and just bounced. Like it's always been in there, but it's always been the stuff has always been elite, but it's just been a confluence of circumstances. He had Tommy John surgery, I believe in 2021. I could be wrong on the year, but I believe he had Tommy John surgery around then. He got drafted by an organization in the Rockies and pitched for the first 4 years of his major league career with the Rockies, a team that a franchise that in and of itself is archaic, that doesn't do a lot of things well analytically, and it's a tough place
It's not like they have a dinosaur as their mascot.
And it's a tough place to pitch, right? Like, I mean, pitchers, even if they were excellent analytically, it's still tough to pitch above sea level. It's tough to pitch in that ballpark. So getting away from Colorado, getting away from them helped. He went to NPB last season. The one good NPB export the Astros have discovered this year. He went to NPB and look, was not like some showstopper in NPB last year. Pitched okay, but was not like
he was 3-12.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny.
Was not this incredible. I mean, he had a 4.26 ERA in NPB. Like, was not like some showstopper. But the thing he said about like when he went to NPB is it just gave him a role, right? For so long in Colorado, he was, the up and down option guy. He was swingman out of the bullpen sometimes. Like, never had a defined role in a rotation. And he got that at NPB, was able to just go make 23, 24 starts and pitch 120 innings. And that helped him a lot. The interesting thing, if you look at kind of his pitch usage, his pitch shapes, everything, like there's not a ton of differences between when he was in Colorado and now that he's here. His four-seam fastball is not good. It has not performed well. It did not perform well at all in Colorado. So he is throwing it less in Houston, but it's not as if it's some precipitous decline. I think he still throws like 32 or 33% four-seamers. It was like 38 or 39 in Colorado, which again, it's a decrease, but it's not as if he scrapped it completely.
It's not good, but it's not a detriment to him. He has a 190 batting average allowed on that four-seamer this year.
I guess what I meant was when he came over.
He was allowing a 318 the last time he pitched.
When the Astros signed him, his four-seamer was not good, and they encouraged him to throw it less. Now, how do you do that? You increase the usage on your other pitches. You have seen him become. He can throw 8 pitches. He's got a six pitches that he really relies on, but he can throw 8 pitches. He's become a lot more unpredictable. There's times where he's pitching backwards sometimes, or he'll go spin early in the count and then finish with a fastball, or like he's changing eye levels, he's changing quadrants. Like he's pitching. Like this isn't this. And this is not meant to be pejorative to Peter Lambert, but like he doesn't have Hunter Brown's stuff. He doesn't have Josh Hader's stuff. Like, so when you don't have that level of stuff, you have to pitch. And he has pitched very, very well. I had a scout that was here last week. I was talking to them about Peter Lambert and he goes, it's above average command on 6 pitches. He goes, not the pitches themselves are not like, I'm going to go right home about it. It is above average command on 6 pitches. And when you can do that, that gives you a lot of flexibility to do a lot of different things.
Yeah. I mean, he's able to put that changeup pretty much wherever. The changeup is just a very good pitch. And he can throw it right on right, which is fun too. He's actually 7th in baseball this year on total right on right changeups. He's thrown 64 of his 400 changeups were right on right. I think he got 3 strikeouts in the first inning in his last start on right changeups. So, it's something that he can throw whenever, wherever. And it's always been a good pitch for him. But he's able to utilize some other stuff. And the real difference, I think, is the the slider. So talk a little bit about the development of the slider, and what they told him to do, and also like where he's standing. I think that's another big part of it.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Peter is not he's a very nice guy, very available guy, very nice, very intelligent, but is not very open. Like doesn't really whenever you talk to Peter Lambert, it sounds like he's always like, I'm not going to tell you what's going on because I don't want to ruin things. Because like he's very much like in a groove of like, yeah, I have a lot of confidence and I'm pitching well. Like let's see how long it can last, sort of thing. So, but he said the big when I asked him like what is different, he said I'm just confident now. And I asked him, okay, so what was the one instance or time when you felt like the confidence kind of switched for you? He said, oh, it was before his last start in AAA. Because remember, he didn't make the team out of camp. He didn't make the team because he didn't miss enough bats. They just weren't seeing like some of the results that they wanted from some of the changes he made. But so he goes to AAA. There's a pitching coach in AAA named Sean Buchanan, who's the Sugarland pitching coach for the last 2 years. Suggested that Lambert move to the extreme third base side of the rubber to create a little bit of an extreme arm angle. For him to just be a little more deceptive, because they felt that right-handed hitters especially were seeing the ball out of his hand very early and could make swing decisions very quick. So this, all right, let's move you to the extreme third base side so you're hiding the ball more. And then to hear Sean Buchanan describe, he said, let's turn your slider into 2 pitches. And essentially what that means is they wanted him to throw a cutter. They wanted him to have a traditional slider to go to right-handed hitters, and now he's introduced this cutter that he's backdooring it to lefties now for called strikes, and that's been able to really kind of keep right-handed hitters a little bit honest. So those are the 2 things. Buchanan said, like, he was like, yeah, I was gonna put out this timetable of when we wanted to introduce all this stuff, and Lambert's like, no, I'm doing it like tomorrow in the start. And he was like, oh, okay, go right ahead. He did it, pitched well, and then that was on the road. That was during the road trip where the whole rotation fell apart. So Lambert's next start was in the big leagues, and I guess you can say it's been ever since. It's been history.
Yeah. Can you pull up just the slider location stuff? So I think this is
if you're watching on YouTube, you can see. If you're listening on audio but watching on YouTube, we've got some different heat maps of where Peter Lambert's slider is now landing.
So on the left is 2024, and that slider, the heat map is basically up and away to righties. That's where most of his were thrown. This season, it is much lower. It's like right at the knees, down and away to righties. And I mean, that alone just gives you so much more flexibility to be able to pitch outside to righties. And I mean, being on the extreme right third base side too, think about, he throws his changeup inside to righties often. That is a crazy angle for a pitch that is coming arm side into the right-hander's batter's box, and he's already standing on the extreme third base side. And then when you can also have a pitch that you're dotting on the outside corner to righties, I mean, you're going to get the results that we're seeing here. And listen, I agree with you. The BABIP is super low. Like he's probably not this good forever. Like, but you've already banked 103 innings at a 137 ERA plus. And just for context for everybody at how good a 137 ERA plus is, Framber Valdez's last 5 seasons with the Astros, he had a 128 ERA plus, and Framber was a very good pitcher for the Astros. So Peter Lambert has been very, very good for 103 innings. He leads the team in innings. Like you said, he's the second most valuable player on the Astros this season behind Jordan. They would not be anywhere close to where they are in the playoff hunt without Peter Lambert. Like he has been as consistent as you could possibly have dreamed of. And the reason they are in a position to be 2 games out of the the division lead this late in July is because of Peter Lambert.
And Peter Lambert will try to pitch them even better into playoff position because, as we said, I would be stunned if Tetsuya Imai pitches on Sunday against the Rangers. That would leave Peter Lambert to pitch on 4 days rest at Dyken Park. And if you'd like to watch it, SeatGeek has a code for you. That's right. SeatGeek, a great, loving sponsor of Crush City Territory and Foul Territory. You can use the code Territory10 for 10% off all of your MLB tickets at SeatGeek. And Tyler, this weekend at Dyken Park, if we want to be completely blunt, the place should be sold out. I mean, this is the biggest series that they have played all season. They have put themselves in a position to, if you win this series, you can perhaps be in first place in the American League West as the trade deadline approaches. And Hunter Brown is on schedule to pitch on Friday, so you have your ace going on Friday. Ronel Blanco should be on schedule to pitch Saturday opposite Jacob deGrom of the Rangers. And then, as we said, Peter Lambert on Sunday against, I believe, Kumar Rocker of the Rangers. But big series, and I think that's an understatement.
You should definitely be there if you can. Plus, you get Yordan jersey on Friday night, and then Yordan weird Spider-Man bobblehead thing on Saturday. Have you seen that one yet, Chandler? Have you seen he's kind of squatting and doing like a Spider-Man bobblehead thing for Marvel Night? But yeah, I mean, I agree. I would be pretty surprised if this is not sold out with as close as everything is, with the silver boot up for grabs. This is a huge series. And again, it required them taking care of business against the Angels, which is not a given, but they have done that so far. And if they can sweep today, really set themselves up to where this is a series that decides who is leading the division. And then, not to look too far ahead, but you got a 6-game homestand, and the Blue Jays are coming into town, and those Blue Jays are probably not going to look like the Blue Jays that they have been, because that is going to be after the trade deadline, and they are selling. So that's going to be another team that you've got a really good opportunity to take advantage of. So you got 6 games here that are extremely important, and to be there in person.
Could be interesting too, because the Blue Jays and the Astros have matched up on deals before. You look at the Blue Jays roster. Astros could use Kevin Gausman. Astros could use Dalton Varsho. Maybe you'll see some dugout to dugout trades. Maybe you'll see a guy walking in the bowels of Dyken Park from one clubhouse to another on Monday night.
Come on, give us one more, Nate. Give me like an ounce of hope that
George?
there's an outfielder, that could help them.
I mean, Dalton Varsho or George Springer, but I wouldn't put it past him. But I mean, I think if they want, no offense to George, no offense to Dalton Varsho either, who's had a bad year too, but I think they would rather guys that are playing well. But who knows? Who knows what the opportunity cost would be? But
I mean, the power of friendship, Chandler. The more friends you have on the team, the stronger the power is.
Perhaps. But if you want to come see the Astros in the Silver Boot Series against the Texas Rangers, you can use a code that we're going to give you for SeatGeek. It's code Territory10 for 10% off your next set of MLB tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any MLB tickets with the promo code Territory10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. And if you're watching on YouTube, we've got the QR code up that you can just scan and use the code Territory10 for 10% off MLB tickets at SeatGeek. I know everyone that listened to this for 39 minutes is very upset that we just didn't spend 30 minutes doing fake trade proposals to see who the Astros would get. The only reason I'm wary about talking about the deadline on the podcast is I literally don't know what's going to happen the next hour. Like, this could be obsolete by the time we put it out there. So wanted to stick more kind of on the field and things that are going to remain and be more evergreen as you guys listen to this. But we will talk deadline. We will talk more deadline stuff. We'll do another podcast tomorrow. That's going to be Thursday. We'll probably take some questions from you guys to do a little more deadline heavy episode, but just wanted to make that clear. That's why we're not trying to avoid it, but it's just, they could make a trade tonight and everything we talk about could be just kind of rendered obsolete. So wanted to keep it a little bit more on the field, but we will be back tomorrow with a little more deadline heavy episode. But until then, you can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford. Please rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. Please like the YouTube video and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified anytime we post a new podcast. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow to talk deadline, 5 days until the trade deadline. But until then, you can have a good day and enjoy Hayden Wisniewski tonight, and see you tomorrow.
Whoa, I'm Peter Lamberman. Whoa, I'm Peter Lamberman. Bye.